Hey guys, I've gotten a lot of people asking me to do a video on how I draw hair, but I actually just started getting better at drawing hair over the past few months, so I've learned some tips and things to show you guys. Um, if you actually go look at some of my old drawings, the hair's pretty horrible. So if you want to compare, go check that out. Um, I chose this photo of Diana Agron from Glee because I love the style that she has her hair in this photo. It's really, really pretty. And then also it's pretty simple to draw, so it's good for beginners. So if you want to learn how to draw hair, keep watching. If you look back at some of my old drawings, you'll be able to tell that my style that I draw hair has kind of evolutionized. It's definitely not the same as it was a year ago when I started drawing on YouTube. I'm going to use my Juicy Star 07 drawing, and you can go back and look at it and then come back, but I'm going to use that one as an example of one of my old drawings that I am unhappy with how the hair looks. And the reason why the hair doesn't look so good in that drawing is because I used to draw hair thinking of it as just lines. Like I used to think you need to get down each hair, it needs to be strokes on the paper, lines on the paper for it to look like hair. And that is all wrong. The way to get hair looking realistic is to just treat it like the rest of the face, not like it's any different from skin. You need to think of it as there's darker parts of the hair, there's really light parts of the hair, and there's medium parts of the hair. And you need to shade all of those in or erase the light parts. I need to shade the hair, and to shade the hair I need to figure out the darkest areas, the medium areas, and the lightest areas of the hair. So I'm going to show that to you right here actually. There I'm pointing to a dark area. Here's a light area. Dark, light. All of this that's being reflected by the light in the room that she was in, that's going to be the white color of the paper basically. All of these pieces. So again, this is all light right here. Light tone. And this is the darkest tone, where her roots are and where her head is being shaded by the light. And then here's the medium toned areas. Basically any area that's not darkest or lightest is medium. Lots of people ask me why I have a piece of paper under my hand when I'm drawing sometimes. It's because if you have already drawn the whole face and you're going ahead and doing the hair, you don't want to smudge the whole face with your hand while you're drawing the hair. So that's why I have the piece of paper there. What I'm doing right now is I'm basically getting the dark parts in. And I'm not really worried about what it looks like right now. I'm just making sure that it's going in the same direction as the hair flow, where the hairs are being pulled in the bun. I'm not worried about what it looks like right now, because I know that it's gonna get covered up with darker pencil. So her hair was pulled back into a bun, and there were little tubes of hair, sort of like rolls. And to make it look like rolls, I was making it darker on either side of the roll and light in the middle. But again, I was being really messy with the pencil. You can't really see from here. But I was just mainly trying to get the color in there, the dark color, the dark tone. And right here I'm just using the HB pencil. That's what I used for most of the drawing, and then once I get towards the end, I switch to a 6B and add in the really, really dark areas, and I go ahead and erase some of the light areas. So this little hair that's hanging down is darker at the end, so I'm just kind of scribbling, shading in, not really trying to get each little hair or anything like that. So right here I'm just doing a medium tone right in front of her ear. Basically just scratching the paper with my pencil lightly. Basically what I'm doing here is just getting all the dark areas in. If I see a streak, like a darker streak of hair, like she had her hair highlighted or whatever, I leave the highlight white, like the paper color, and then I get either side of the highlight darker with the pencil. And again, this is an HB that I'm using, and I'm just going really lightly with it pretty much. Now I'm doing the roots. And all of this is going to get covered up with, well, not all of it, but most of it is going to get covered up with either more pencil or a 6B pencil later on, or I'm going to erase part of it. You're not going to be able to get the whole hair done with one layer of HB pencil. Like, for a drawing to look really realistic and good, you have to have lots of layers there. Usually you'll have, like, for me, I'll have like at least 2 different pencils and several layers. Like, even when I think I'm done, I'll walk away from the drawing and I'll go back to it an hour later or a day later, and I'll notice things and put it in and think like, wow, like that made a huge difference. So right here it looks like I'm just going in with another layer of pencil to get it a little bit darker. getting the roots a little darker. Just not really doing things perfect, just going in there sketching in darker areas. And it's important to keep looking back at the photo as you're drawing, because sometimes I'll be drawing the hair and I'll get so into getting the darker parts in that I'll completely lose track of what the photo actually looks like. You have to look back to make sure that you're going with the stroke of the hair, like going with the direction of the hair so that it looks like it's in a bun or whatever. So I'm still just getting in all of the darker tones and leaving most of the lighter tones untouched so that they are the color of the paper underneath. And I'm not really worried if I get some of the pencil on the parts where I want to keep light, because I can always go back and erase it. So now I'm just going in with my blending stump, and this is an optional step. I don't really know why I do this. I just like to blend all of the... I have a blending obsession, I think. Sometimes the lines can get kind of messy, especially if you don't have like a really steady hand. And if you use a blending stump on them, it kind of evens things out. And even if I cover up the white parts again, like I can always go back and erase it. The blending stump is good for around the part because sometimes you can see where you put the pencil down and started the stroke and it looks kind of weird. So if you blend that out, it looks more like a real hairline, a real part. And then after I blend it, I just go back in, and this is the 6B pencil. You can see how much darker it is than the HB. I'm just looking back and forth at the photo and then at my drawing and putting in all the darker areas, the darkest areas actually. And this is just the first layer of 6B. I'm going to end up putting a few layers on top of this with 6B pencil. I like to sharpen my 6B pencil quite a bit because for some reason, if the 6B pencil gets like really shaved down on the tip so that it's like really, really rounded, the consistency of the pencil on the paper is too grainy for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe it's just my imagination, but I like to keep it really sharp. So right there, I'm putting in the darkest area that is on the photo that I see. So right here, I'm just going in with my eraser, my kneaded eraser, and erasing the lightest parts that I see in the photo, which are the parts of her hair that are being reflected by light. Then I'm going back in with the HB pencil and adding in some really light hair-like strokes. And then going back and making the edges of the part where I erased less harsh. So kind of blending out the erased part. And then going back with the HB and adding a little bit more of the hair-like strokes. And then going back with the HB, adding back some of the low lights in her hair. So that's pretty much it. This is getting towards the end of the drawing, and basically I'm just looking back and forth from the drawing to the photo and making sure that I've got all the dark parts in, all the medium parts in, all the light parts in, and basically it looks like hair. And this took me about an hour, I believe, to do her hair only. And I actually chose this photo of Diana Agron to draw because her hair in this photo is on the easier side. It's only half of her hair and it's up in a bun, and there's a lot of light shining on it, so there's a lot of contrast. She's got really dark roots, so it's easy to see the darks, the lights, the mediums. But if you're drawing someone who doesn't have any light shining on their hair, or they have tons of curls, it's going to take you probably quite a bit longer than this one. So at this point, if your drawing's still looking pretty flat, you probably need to go in with your 6B pencil or the darkest pencil that you have, and just add in the darkest dark that you can possibly get. Also, look at the highlighted areas, and if you need to, erase a little bit more so that the white of the paper is showing from underneath the drawing, and that should make it pop a little bit more out of the page. Hopefully this video helped you, and if you have any comments or questions, please leave them below.